Welcome to the Mills Knows Bills podcast. My name is Mills Bender. I'm the founder and CEO of Mills Knows Bills, where we help you, variable income earners, master your money in 90 days. The point of this podcast is to help you make the most of your fluctuating income so you can stop living paycheck to paycheck, pay off your debt twice as fast, and get on track toward reaching both your personal and professional financial goals. Now, as I continue to grow my team here at MKB, you may have some guest hosts from time to time. However, our goal does not change. Whether we're bringing in a guest speaker, having an in-depth conversation about our personal finances, or talking about a topic that is of interest to you, our goal is to help you master your money. Welcome back to another episode of the Mills Knows Bills podcast, where we answer burning financial questions. I'm your host as well as CEO of MKB, Mills Bender. Today's structure is going to look a little different. We're going to have this very conversational style. Off to the side here, we have my marketing girl, Chloe, who's going to ask me a couple questions. I'll respond back, and it'll kind of lead into a conversation that we typically have with our prospects, right? These are very common questions that we get asked. So rather than just answering one question, we want to give you a few questions that really are reflective of everyday life here at MKB. So, Chloe, what is the first question that we're going to kick this off with?
All right, first question we have here is, do small business owners struggle with creating accurate budgets and long-term financial plans, often resulting in overspending or underinvestment?
Yes. So let's answer that in a couple different parts then. So our clients and prospects typically, they struggle with their finances because they don't have a budget in place and they don't have a plan in place. And when we really work back to the root reason of why, it kind of comes down to a few different reasons. Time, they don't have time to do it, or they just don't know how to do it. And so we're going to answer the how to on this episode. If it's a time thing, you already know the solution. You call us here at MKB. We handle it for you. Okay. But if you're in a situation where you want to handle it yourself, here is the quite literal blueprint that we give our clients. So first and foremost, if you're struggling with your finances, you don't know where it's going, maybe you're overspending, underspending, overinvesting, you need to establish a budget first. Not just for your business finances, but for your personal finances as well. Establishing a personal budget allows you to identify how much money you need to pay yourself each month from your business. So work backwards, calculate all of your expenses on the personal side, assign that dollar amount within your business budget. Your business budget, it's your plan to spend money on paper on purpose. It's you establishing where your money is going to go in the future before it actually happens. So by the time it comes to spending that money, you already know what the purpose is before it even comes up. That's how you avoid the overspending or underspending. Because yes, underspending is a problem. For example, your marketing budget. If your marketing is how you get your revenue, but you're underspending because you spent it somewhere else instead, you're not going to get as much revenue. So yes, underspending is a thing. Okay. But if you have that plan, if you've established that budget, then you already have that game plan of where you're going. You have that direction. And so some key components that you need to consider in your business budget, let's work smarter, not harder. Pull up your most recent profit and loss statement. See what expenses are true in your business. Get an idea of what you can expect, and then look at the dollar amount and say, does that dollar amount make sense? Should I keep budgeting for that dollar amount? Do I need to increase it or decrease it? What line items are not on my profit and loss that should be on my budget? Your debt payments, the principal part, doesn't go on your P&L. So you need to account for that in your budget. If you are taking distributions or draws, that needs to go in that budget too. If you have any goals to hire new people, that needs to go on your budget. Leverage your profit and loss to do bulk of the work, but then make the additions or subtractions when you're actually establishing that budget. So does that answer the first part of the question?
It answers the first part of the question.
Okay.
So now here's a follow-up.
Okay.
How does someone get started with that?
With the budget itself or with implementing it?
Both.
Both. Okay. So getting started with your budget, let's go back to pulling up your profit and loss statement from your bookkeeping software. Number one, download it as an Excel spreadsheet. Then you can make adjustments from there. It's a lot easier than retyping everything, right? Work smarter, not harder. In terms of implementing it, you need to have a consistent schedule for looking at your finances. And this is actually the consistent schedule that here at MKB we implement with our clients. So there's weekly, there's monthly, and they're quarterly. A lot of people don't look at their finances because they don't know where to start. They don't know what they're looking at, right? As a result, they feel like ignorance is bliss. You can't just ignore your finances. It's not going to just magically fix itself. I'm sorry. So every week, every month, every quarter, here's the breakdown. Okay. Every quarter, you should be having goal setting meetings with yourself. This is my budget for the next quarter. These are the goals that I want to implement operationally. I want to make these number of hires. I want to implement this new software. I want to hit this revenue goal. You need to have quarterly goal setting, looking at both the operations and the finances. Every quarter, you should also be talking with the other professionals in your network, your accountant, your bookkeeper, your financial advisor, your fractional CFO. Anyone who has a say in how your business operates financially. The reason why we say quarterly here at MKB is because it allows you to make adjustments to your tax mitigation strategy, to beefing up your investments a little bit more. It allows you to also make sure that those other financial professionals are doing what they're promising. Just the other day, and we're recording this early October, I just got one of my clients' end of July statements. They just got their P&L for July. That's too late. They're paying their bookkeeper every single month though. Talk with them quarterly. Keep them honest. On a monthly basis, you should be keeping track of your quarterly goals. So if you have a goal of hitting an additional $50,000 in revenue over this quarter, you're 1 month in and you thought that you were going to hit 20,000 of that 50,000 in the first month. How are you actually tracking against that goal? So quarterly, you're establishing the goals. Monthly, you are keeping track of how you're trending against those goals. Every month, you should also be analyzing your profit and loss statement, pulling those numbers, looking at how you are tracking financially and making sure that you are on track for your budget. If you're not, that's when you get to make adjustments. On a weekly basis, you should be looking at your finances 15, 20 minutes once a week. That's where you're analyzing your cash flow. That's when you're looking at the balances of all your accounts. And that's when you're implementing quick tasks that need to happen in order for you to hit your monthly goals and therefore your quarterly goals. So a lot of times business owners don't know where to start. This is where you start. Establish your budget and then establish those weekly, monthly, and quarterly meetings with yourself to make sure that you are actually putting in the work to maintain that budget and hit your goals. Are there any follow-up questions on that?
Well, you answered both follow-up
Sorry.
questions.
Sorry,
already.
I'm just an overachiever, I guess.
You literally answered both, which was how often should someone look at their finances, and then who are the people that should speak into the budget. So you literally overachieved there.
My apologies.
But I think maybe just like a wrap up of, so if they're putting all these things in place, they know who they're talking to, when they're looking at it, how to do it. Yeah. Right. So what's the wrap up of what they're going to see, the trajectory moving forward? If all of this is in place, what does that look like for them?
If you have a pulse of where your finances are at, it's only naturally going to go up. Avoidance is not going to help you improve your finances. Sure. The second you start looking at your finances and trying to keep a grasp on them, they might have a dip because you're actually trying to put in the work. But the long term, it should be improving because you're looking at your finances, you're identifying the trends, and you're seeing how you can not just overcome those financial obstacles, but you'll be able to forecast when an obstacle is coming down the pipeline. Especially if you're projecting your cash flow 13 weeks out, you are going to know where you're at the end of the quarter. Keep track of those numbers because then you'll be able to see what's working, what's not working. You'll be able to have lump sums of cash set aside for your tax payments, especially if you are talking with your CPA. Maybe your CPA is also a tax strategist who can help you lower that liability. Being proactive will only help you in the long run. So if this is something that's giving you a little bit of anxiety, don't let it be the reason why you don't get started. Reach out to us here at Mills Knows Bills. If you go to our website, millsknowsbills.com, in the footer, you'll see schedule a call. Schedule a call with one of our sales and account managers. They're not going to try to sell you on anything. They're going to try to put you in contact with the right CFO to answer your specific questions. So thank you for joining us on this episode. I hope that you got some value out of it, and I'll catch you next time.